So is the screen visible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So yesterday we were discussing about these toolings. So type of toolings, commercial toolings means they are available in the market very easily, and type of toolings includes tools, tool holders, workpiece holders, then wall patterns, core boxes, dies, templates, gauges. These all comes under the categories of toolings. You have expandable tools also, that is drills, reamers, tabs. These are actually the cutting tools, but that also comes under the category of toolings. Then you have forming tools, then you have assembly tools, then tool holders, chucks, wallets, sleeves. So these all you are familiar. Then workpiece holders, these also you are familiar. Now coming to the gauges, yesterday we stopped here. Coming to the gauges, so gauges can be fixed gauges and comparators. Comparators means we will compare. Comparators. Remember, comparator will not give you actual size. Comparator will not give you actual size, but it will give you the variation with respect to the reference size. It will give the variation with respect to the reference size. So you have to set that reference size as 00, and with that reference size it will give whatever the deviation is. So comparators can be mechanical comparators, pneumatic comparators, electrical comparators, electronic and optical, out of which mechanical and pneumatic comparators are most common. So mechanical comparators are nothing but your dial indicators. So you have to set the dial indicator 0 with reference to the standard size. Like say suppose the thickness of the block which is ground is say 50.00. So on the dial you have to set that 50, you have to touch the dial to that 50.00 and make it 0 and make it 0, and then subsequently all the blocks which are ground at 50.00 you have to bring in and place the dial on the top surface and check the deviations. How much is the deviations, right? So actual size you will not get, but you can calculate. Suppose if the dial indicator, the plunger, suppose if it goes up, say by 2 divisions and 3 divisions, usually the one division is 0.01, that is 10 micron. So if it is going up by 10, 2 divisions, so you can calculate the size. The size will be 50.02, that way. Then pneumatic comparators are nothing but which works on the airs. So that pneumatic comparators also works like a dial comparators. Then there are fixed gauges. Fixed, why it is for the fixed gauges? Because it is meant for a particular size only. Like suppose if I say plug gauge. Here you have to remember that plug gauge is used for measuring the inside diameter, that is the bore of the workpiece, bore of the workpiece. Then ring gauges are used for measuring the outside diameter. Now coming to the plug and this, all these gauges, except the pillar gauge, they are of go and no go type. So go plug gauge and no go plug gauge. On one gauge itself, there are two ends. This is a gauge. So you have one end here and other end here. Alright. And then one end is go and another is no go. Usually the go end is longer. The length of the go side is longer, and length of the no-go side is smaller. Length of the no-go side is smaller. So with that you can identify if there is a longer side, that means it is go gauge, and if there is a shorter side, that means it is no go side. Now what is the meaning of go and no go? The go should go, that is it should pass easily in the workpiece, in the board, and no go should not pass. So both the criteria has to be met. Both the criteria has to be met. Then only the component is passed or accepted. Otherwise, like suppose if the go gauge end is going inside, is entering, and no go is also going, then the component is rejected. If the no go is not going, but go is also not going, then also the component is rejected. Both the conditions has to be satisfied when the component will be accepted. Remember. So in plug gauge you have go no go. In ring gauge also you have go no go. Ring gauge is, as the name suggests, ring gauge is nothing but a round. It's a round component. So obviously it will be used for round measuring the round components. Ring gauge will be used for measuring the round components. So again in ring gauge cannot be similar to plug gauge. Plug gauge has go as well as no goes. But the ring gauge will have either go or no go. Ring gauge are not manufactured like go and no go. So again, in ring gauge, there are two criteria, that is go should go and no go should not go. Usually, the ring gauges are used for checking the threads, because if you want to measure the outside diameter, then there is another gauge which is called as the snag gauge. So the snag gauge is similar to your plug gauge, but the snag gauge is used for measuring the outside diameter. Plug gauge is used for measuring the inside diameter, right? And again in snap gauge there is a provision of go and no go. The provision of go and no go. And same thing, there is go should go and no go should not go. Right? So I repeat again, plug gauge is used for measuring the ID. Ring gauge is generally used for checking the thread, and snap gauge is used for checking the outside diameter. Inline gauges is not commonly used. Now, what is flush pin gauge? Flush pin gauge is nothing but if you want to check the depth. All you see, first thing is that all these gauges are used whenever there is a mass production. Like suppose if you want to check thousands of pieces, then it is not possible to check the pieces with micrometer or with vernier. It is not possible. So you have to have some devices which will be very fast. So even CMM, that is coordinate measuring machines, is also not used for mass production, because it also takes the time, because the probe will touch the component, ID, OD, and it takes some time. So that's why these devices are used for measuring the components which are produced in high quantity. Now flush pin again, it is of go and no go type, and it is used for measuring the depth. Like suppose if I want to measure the depth with, let us say, 10, and the tolerance on the depth is say 10 plus or minus 0.05. Okay, so this flush pin will also have two flats, and the top, it is a pin type gauge, and it has two flats. One flat corresponds to go side, another flat corresponds to no go side. So you have to just check whether it is matching with the surface or not. That is, you have to insert the pin in the depth which is already machined, and then you have to check the two flats. If the your depth of the hole, suppose it is a blind hole, then your depth of the hole should lie between your go and no go. flats which are machined on the pin. Then feeler gauge is used for checking the. You will learn more about this in metrology and quality control. So right now you just remember plug gauge, how to use, like in the process sheet, you have to also mention what type of gauges you are going to use. You are not going to design the gauges. You can design the gauges, but in the process sheet you have to just mention the gauges, right? So only we should be able to take the decision whether to go for plug gauge and snap gauge. That's all. Huh? And filler gauge is used for checking the gaps. Checking the gap. How much is the gap between the two surfaces? Filler gauge. It is like a lift. It is like a small lift, and it is of very variable thicknesses. It is of variable thicknesses. So filler gauges are available in the thickness of zero point 0.1, zero point 0.2, zero point 0.3, zero point 0.4. Even up to zero point 0.5 it is available in zero point 0.02, in the steps of zero point 0.02, like say 1, zero point 0.1, then 0.12, then 0.14, 0.16, like that it is. So if how much is the gap between say two mating surfaces, if you want to check the gap between the two mating surfaces, then you can check it with the help of the feeler gauge. So process engineers should have knowledge of all these type of toolings, workpiece holders, uh, their gauges, comparators, because he has to give the clear idea uh, to the workers that how he is going to check. He has to mention it in the SOP. SOP is nothing but standard operating procedures, because many times I have used this word and you may be wondering what is SOP. So SOP is nothing but standard operating procedure. Now we will learn, we will go for the tolerance chart, right? So the very first thing is that why the tolerance is required. Uh, or before that, I will just touch upon, because this is important from examination point of view, because 4 5 times it has been asked, that is make or buy decision. Uh, that is process engineer has to take the make or buy decision also, make or buy decision. So how that decision is taken. So make or buy decision means whether to manufacture in-house or whether to not to manufacture in-house, whether to buy from outside. That is what is called as the make or buy decision. Hmm. To buy means to purchase. And to manufacture means you have facilities, in-house facilities, and whether you have to buy or not buy. So what are the factors? The factors are this, that is, what is the volume required? Hmm. See now, for example, suppose if the quantity which is required is quite less, then definitely it is more economical to manufacture in-house. Uh, See, in-house means obviously you should have facilities. You must have in-house facilities, then only you can manufacture. Uh, See, if you don't have manufacturing facilities itself, then obviously you don't have choice but to go for purchasing. When, so the first criteria is that volume. What is the volume required? So if the quantity is one pieces or two pieces, see, then supplier, ऐसा नहीं कि supplier will not give it to you, but then he will charge, he will charge like that, because and you cannot negotiate also, you cannot bargain also, because every time he will say, अरे साहब एक ही पीस बनाना है, इसमें क्या बार्गेन करते हो? हाँ, अगर if you want a price, then at least give me a quantity, 50 पीस बोलो या 100 पीस बोलो, isn't it? हम लोग शॉप पे भी जाते हैं, when you go to the shop for purchasing, there also, if you buy one and if you buy 12, 1 dozen, then you get a difference, isn't it, in the price? So if the quantity is less, uh, then purchasing is possible, but then the purchase cost will be very high. And another factor is cost. Mm. So you have to compare the cost. Like suppose if I am whether now irrespective of quantity, like you have quantity 1,000 pieces, you can make it inside as well as you can make it outside also. But then in that case you have to compare the cost. That is, if I am going to manufacture inside, what will be the cost? And if I am looking for a supplier, what is going to be the cost? Now why this cost variation comes? Because like say Mahindra and Mahindra in Kandivali plant, they have everything inside, right from the foundry. They have even foundry also, so they can do the castings. They can do the sand castings, they can do the die castings. Even now they are going to set up the moldings also, molding shop also. So even that is also possible. They have gear cutting machines, so they can do gear hobbling, they can do gear tip grinding, gear generating. So everything is possible. But then at the same time they have many number of suppliers. They have lot many suppliers with them. They have many suppliers. Why? Because Mahindra has their own studies, like suppose us per year, say 50 kits per year. If they want to manufacture in-house, then their cost is coming higher than the cost of the supplier. Why? Because the peoples who are working in Mahindra, they are all highly paid. If I want to manufacture a gear, so for 1 year there will be how many? What will be the chain of the peoples? There will be a helper, okay. There will be a loader, there will be a machine cleaner, there will be a machine operator, and there will be a supervisor. And supervisor के ऊपर manager, and manager के ऊपर तुम्हारा assistant general manager, then GM. बराबर ना? All direct labors and indirect labors, they are all linked with this 1 year manufacturing, which is तो वो सबका सैलरी है, that will get divided on this. Plus they have all the facilities, and then the payment, payments, they follow the minimum wages. As suppose even if there is a helper, so they are paying 800 rupees, that is the minimum salary that they get. Now come to the supplier sales. So mostly the suppliers are mostly they are all small scale and medium scale peoples where the labor is not much, labor is economical. There is nothing like helper, loader, cleaner, supervisor, manager, skipper, operator manager. Most of the time, so it is one man show only. Huh? Or at the most, if it is a medium scale, then there will be a chain of 2-3 people like operator and directly engineer and then operator. So payment, etc. So that overheads are very less. Then coming to the facilities, so facilities are not that high as what Mahindra provides. In the Fana bolo, Pina bolo. So all that is so suppliers का जो overheads है, that comes very very less, as compared to Mahindra. So Mahindra वो क्या करता है? They don't manufacture anything because they know that if I am trying to manufacture inside, then it is going to be a very costly affair. आज उधर का वर्कर को those workers who are in the age of 35 to 40, they are paid around 50,000 60,000 rupees workers को. Even the seniors है उनको तो still ज़्यादा. The engineers are paid 1.5 lakhs. The managers they get around 3 to 4 lakhs. This is per month figure, per month figure. Which small scale industry pays 50,000 or 60,000 to the worker? Giving in the name. No small scale industry or even medium scale also. The workers who are working in medium scale industry, which industry gives 50,000 or 60,000 to the to the worker, not even high skilled worker. The salary is paid this much high. But in Mahindra, even if driller means he's only doing the drilling work, he's also getting 60,000, 50,000 per month. So that's why their cost will be high. So you have to work this, you have to work on this costing. Then, of course, the cost doesn't include only the labor, it also includes others also. आपका जो material का cost है, then आपका electricity cost है, water tank cost, taxes है, आपका machine का cost है, consumer cost, so many factors are there, which more or less remain same, more or less remain same with the suppliers or with the miners. But sometimes if the suppliers are on the outskirts, in the suburbs, like now Mahindras, Chassis, etc., they have suppliers from Gujarat side. So in Gujarat, because they have noticed, rather than manufacturing in Maharashtra, manufacturing in Gujarat works out to be more economical because they have tax holidays. So the electricity cost भी नहीं है उतना. So anything, even in take the example of Bombay, what you are going to manufacture in Mumbai and what you manufacture in Brazil, there is a difference between the cost. Mainly because of the labor, because of the electricity cost, water taxes, etc. Then make or buy decision also depends upon the type of the product. A particular part may be used only for short time, in which case it is usually more satisfactory uh, to its output to manufacture. So if the life of the product is less, that is, it is to be used only for the short time. Sometimes, especially it happens with the FMCG industries. With the FMC industries, the life is very short, isn't it? Even in the fashion industries also, the life is very short. So in that case, we always prefer that we will manufacture in-house. Then degree of product standardization. Remember, standard products आँख बंद करके आपको मैन्युफैक्चर से ही लेना है standard product. You don't go to manufacture standard products on your own. Standard products means like your bearings, your oil seals, your O-rings, your pneumatic cylinders, your PLCs, your switch gears, all these hardwares, not only mechanical hardwares, even your electrical hardwares also, your HMIs, that is human machine interface, your PLCs below, that is programmable logic controller, switch gears below, switch gears includes your relays, connectors, so bearings, ball bearings, roller bearings, hence all these products, most important is your nuts, bolts, rivets. These are all standard products and these are manufactured by already renowned peoples. Like if you talk about bearings, so bearings are they are already reputed, branded bearings like Escape, Tag. Many imported bearings are also there. Escape and Tags being the most reputed. If you talk about the fasteners like nuts and bolts, then you have Unbreako fasteners, then you have Precision Fasteners Industries. Hmm. If you talk about switch gears, then you have giants like L&D, Larsen and Toubro. They are reputed in the switch gears. Siemens, they are reputed in the switch gears. If you want to talk about say PLCs or HMI, then you have Mitsubishi, you have ABB, you have Snyder, you have Delta. If you talk about sensors, photo sensors, so you have Autonix. If you talk about pneumatic cylinders, then you have Presto, then you have SMC, you have Genetics. So these are all peoples, branded peoples which are already available in the market. Hmm. And le- if you buy from there, it will be much, much, much economical because you don't have that expertise. Like suppose if you want to manufacture a bearing, then you need to have hardening plan, you need to have grinding plan for grinding the walls, you need to have facility for grinding the inner race, for grinding the outer race. So all these facilities are required, which you cannot, you know. So it is always cheaper, or economical, I will say, uh, to get the standard products from the outside. Hmm. Then another factor is degree of manufacturing specialization. Now, certain process needs, the expertise, like research, many years of research and development, like say fuel injection pumps or the carburetors, so fuel injection wash pumps, or linear motion bearings, so PNK, or say probes, optical probe, that is say Renishaw, So they have expertise in that, they have. See, one thing is some brands and another is monopoly item. Like they are specialized in रेनी वो मतलब रेनी क्या linear motion guidelines मतलब NNK or TNK. They are the specialized wall screw NK. So they are the experts in that. They have specialized in that. So don't try to compete them. So whenever some manufacturing specialization is required, then you please go for those. You approach those people. Then alternate source of supply. Like suppose you have taken a decision to buy, okay, your supply, then you also need to, and you have taken a decision that I am not going to manufacture in house, right? Then you need to take a decision that yes, I am going to, take it from Mr. X or say A. Hmm. Then what happens if there is some problem with the supplier A or with the supplier X? Suppose, see, he is also a man, isn't it? He is not a magician, isn't he? He is not going to make any magic. Hmm? He is also a human being like you and me. So there also some breakdowns will happen, some strikes, some labor problems, isn't it? So those things are going to happen. Sometimes sometimes some suppliers are very smart. Now if he comes to know that now you are taking from me and you don't have any other alternative, then he may ask for the price rise. So as a process engineer, you should have one or two suppliers, alternative supplier as a standby. So if anything goes wrong with one supplier, we can always approach the second supplier. Hmm. Then reliability of supply is another important factor for make or buy decision. Right now you have only one supplier, but then if you want to dance as per his tune, then you will be in problem, isn't it? Suppose if he says नहीं मैं 10 दिन के बाद दूंगा, yeah, it will take 15 days or it will take 20 days. So if you don't have alternative supplier or if you don't have your own in-house manufacturing decision, then you have no choice but to listen to him and to keep quiet. Understand? No? So the reliability of the supplier has to check whether the supplier which you are selected whether he is reliable or not. Isn't it? If he is not reliable, then you should have your plan of manufacturing in-house. Hmm? ठीक है, जरूरत पड़ेगा तो हम अपनी खुद की मशीन चालू करेंगे, बट माय फाइनल प्रोडक्शन शुड नॉट बी स्टॉप ऐसा है. Yeah, Anirudh, you have any doubts so that now I can go for the tolerance chart?
No, sir, not as such.
Okay. So this is make or buy decision, which is very it comes at a short note uh, for 5 marks.
Sir, please post this PDF on the classroom.
Yes, yes. So now what happens? Why? What I was talking that why the tolerance is required. Hmm? Why the tolerance is. Now we are studying another lesson or chapter, that is tolerance analysis, tolerance chart and tolerance analysis. The very first question in your mind should come that why You know, why tolerance? Why tolerance is different? Like suppose if I, if now 2 days only, or most of the times we are not able to, reach. Like suppose if somebody asks to come at 10.00. So what is the probability uh, of reaching at 10.00? And suppose if it is given that okay, you reach between 9:55 and 10.05, like the time is 10, but you reach between say plus minus 0.05. Okay, so what is the probability that you will reach in 10.00 plus minus 0.05? Definitely it will be more. Definitely it will be more than earlier. If I ask my supplier that hi, yeah, you are you have to give me 1 lakh pieces. The diameter is say 20, and all 1 lakh pieces will be 20.00. 20.00. So it is not possible that all 1 lakh pieces will be 20.00. There will be some variations always. Now, how much is that variations? That is what you have to define. Like suppose if I ask you to come at 10.00, how much to allow, that is up to me, isn't it? Up to me means, of course, it is logical also. It will depend upon many factors. Like suppose 10.00, I will allow up to 15 minutes, isn't it? But definitely, I cannot allow after 15 minutes because then you may not understand, you know, the lecture, because whatever has been covered up, uh, that is not possible to again revise. So I set the limit that 10 है तो ठीक है 10-15 तक आ जाए. Now why I give this tolerance? Because there are factors like we all of us travel, by the train, by rickshaw, by bus. So the trains are late, buses are not there, frequency is less, rickshaws may be there. So all these factors, because of that, I have to give the trolley. So similarly, there will be variations in the workpiece. There will be variation in the workpiece, and because of that variation, we give the tolerance. We give the tolerance. So what are the causes of the workpiece variation? So first thing is machines. So machines which perform the operation on the workpiece may have inherent inequalities built into them. These machines are made up from manufactured parts assembled together, and each is subjected to the same work part duration as regular production parts, but to lesser degree. It is something like this. Like suppose if you if if like 8 standard and 10 standard, it is something like the 10 standard. To teach in 8 standard class, the minimum requirement is that he should be 10th standard, because he should have studied little more hmm, than what he is going to teach. Similarly, if I want to check the components which has the tolerance of say 0.02, then I cannot check that component with the measuring instrument which has a resolution of 0.02. Resolution of the bliss count. I cannot check 0.02. Say I cannot check 0.02 tolerance. It is something like 8 standard. The student who is learning in 8 standard, he cannot teach the students who are learning 8 standard. 8. So 0.02 wala 0.02. The instrument which has 0.02 discount cannot be used for checking the 0.02 tolerance. It is not possible. Generally, the thumb rule is, of course, there is a gauge design and instrument design, and how to calculate the tolerance. So there is a design parameters, but the thumb rule is the discount of the gauge should be 1 by 10, 1/10. That is, if I want to check the tolerance of 0.02, that is 20 micron, then 1/10 of that, so that will be 2 microns. That means my my measuring instrument should have a discount of 2 microns. If not 1/10, then at least 1/5 should be there. That is, if I want to check 0.02 tolerance, 0.02, then my instrument should have 0.02 divided by 5. So 0.02 divided by 5, how much it comes? It comes 10 microns. Correct? So this is the thumb rule. So what happens here, if you want to manufacture a component,
Sir, it comes 4 microns.
sorry? Yeah, I got it. You are right here. I was just checking whether everybody is alive or not. Yeah.
It
So,
becomes 4 microns, sir,
yes,
because
yes.
it's 1/5, right? So
Yeah,
it will
yeah.
be 2 times of 2
Correct,
microns.
correct. Correct, correct. Yeah. So what I was telling that now suppose, thank you, you are attentive. Now, if I want to manufacture a component which has a tolerance of say zero point 0.02, then my machine accuracy should be still better than this. Then only I can manufacture the components whose accuracy is 0.02. So अगर 0.02 accurate component बनाना है तो मेरा machine should have at least 10 micron का accuracy. Machine. See, every machine which is manufactured, assembled, they are tested. Like suppose if it is a lathe machine, then it is checked. What is its positioning accuracy, what is its repeatability, then what is the spindle run out in axial direction as well as in radial direction. So everything is checked. So all this should be less than 10 microns. So it should be within 5 to 10 microns. So position accuracy should be within 10 microns and the repeatability should be less than 5 microns. Understand? What is the difference between positioning accuracy and repeatability? Like suppose I want to reach say x10, if I say x10 0.00. So if I say my machine has accuracy of say 10 microns, so I will get either 10.01 or I will get 9.99. And what do you mean by repeatability? Huh? Repeatability means same and same, same. That is, uh, a student, if he is scoring 60% in all the semesters, so that is good because his repeatability is very good. But a student who has scored 100% in one semester, 90% in second semester, then 70%, then 50%, 60%, in that case repeatability is not good. In case of machine, if every time suppose if it is giving 10.01, 10.01, 10.01, I will prefer that machine instead of a machine which is giving 10.0, 9.99, 10.01. Instead of that, I will prefer a machine which always gives me 10.0 and 10.0. So that is what is called as the repeatability. Always look for the repeatability. So machines, in machines also there are many parts which are assembled, right? And that parts they have their own tolerances, correct? Which gives rise to the inequalities. Then second factor is cutting tools which we use on the machine. So cutting tools which we use on the machines, they get dull. They become dull. They become dull. They become blunt, isn't it? So if any cutting tool which becomes dull or which becomes blunt, it's obviously going to cause the variation in the size. Correct.
Sir,
Then the
sir,
processes. Yeah.
sir, it's time now. We'll
Yeah,
conclude
yeah.
for
Just
today's session.
just 2 minutes only. Then there are some processes. I am going to give you that chart, which has their own tolerances. Like casting will give some tolerances. Forging will give you some accuracy. Powder metallurgy will give you some accuracy. Like I cannot expect accuracy of say 50 micron in casting. No way. If I am going to cast, then I will get a variation of plus minus 2 mm. So if my component is still produced by casting, then I have to give a tolerance of plus minus 2 mm or plus minus 1 mm. So it depends upon the process also. Then another factor is your human, skilled people, semi-skilled people, unskilled people. So if the skilled people can make in 0.02, but the semi-skilled will take and unskilled will have to give the more tolerance. Then there are some unforeseen circumstances which you cannot predict, and that is called the chance causes. Uh, so because of the chance, you don't know what happens when. So there will be some variation. Okay. Thank you so much. If you have any doubt, please ask.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, in the next lecture, we will. Can you revise this tolerance of the machine and measuring instruments once again with respect to the tolerance of our workpiece?
Yes, sure. Hmm. No problem.
Okay, sir.
Tomorrow you have lecture in the morning, 9 o'clock. Can we keep? Which lecture is there tomorrow?
So let me check.